Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Additions to the agenda, we have several, and we have a couple removals, which is just magic to my ears. One, we need to add library trustees. That will be an executive session. We need to add the sheriff's update. He's got our quarterly update ready for us. We will be removing Jim Carroll and putting him on tomorrow's agenda for the budget meeting. And that is, do I see Jim Carroll?
Yeah, he's under guests.
Under guests,
Yeah,
okay.
he was just giving
So
an
he
update.
will not be here. We need to add the Stranded Act to the budget, or excuse me, to the, what are we doing here?
New business.
We're on the
It's
agenda.
correspondence that we
We're
got.
on the agenda.
And then we need to remove the art display policy, thank God. And I think that's it.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in
Oops,
favor
I
of?
can't vote, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Recused.
Who
Okay.
seconded that?
Jeff seconded. Moved and seconded, all those in favor of all the stuff I just said, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
I'm recusing.
Yes, Mary Lynn.
We got cemetery caretaking bids.
Sure. Is it on here? No? So,
So moved.
okay, so moved and seconded to add cemetery caretaking bids as well. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, let's see, library trustees, I'm never gonna remember all this. I'm gonna start a second
Is that
sheet.
all under new business or old business or both or something?
All
Library
gonna
should be
be
department.
new business, library's gonna be department, but we're gonna
Oh,
probably
I see, okay.
wait towards the end to do that, cause it's an executive session. Nah, we can do it now, I don't really care. Cemetery bids is gonna be under department. But we will do that first before we do the library trustees, in executive session. Bear with me tonight. It's gonna get ugly. With my brain going in 6,000 different directions right now. And those are my chair's remarks. Guest, Gordy Christensen, I do not see, but you're gonna speak on behalf of Gordy Christensen. Come on up.
Gordon called me just before 4 o'clock and told me he was not feeling well, so he would not be able to come tonight.
I wish I
However,
could use that excuse.
You can't.
there's 2 bonds that have come up for renewal. They're both $100,000 bonds, and he was requesting permission to reinvest them. So all we need to do is give him permission, and then he's going to call me in the morning, or Michelle, whichever one, and see if he's got the okay to reinvest the money.
Okay. Gordy had called me and talked to me about this a couple weeks ago, letting me know that it was coming. So we're gonna basically stay within the same type of bond, or
Correct.
even in the same bond,
Correct.
right?
We're just
Okay.
going to reinvest it.
Okay. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair, I move that we approve the reinvestment of the 2 $100,000 bonds per Gordon Christensen recommendation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of doing what we just said, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passed. So you're all set there.
Okay.
Open public comment, no agenda items only. Seeing none. You guys are letting me off easy. Cemetery bids. You guys just had a meeting tonight,
We
is
just
this
had
why
a
you're
meeting.
springing this on me?
Yes.
Okay.
We received one sealed bid, and it was from our current caretakers, the house.
Okay.
And it was continuing with their current amount that they've been doing for years, for $17,000.
Okay.
So we would like to offer them a 3-year contract
Okay.
with that amount
All right.
per year. So
We have the opportunity, just as a sidebar, to ask our current provider for the town as well. I think we probably should. I don't know how the bids were put out. I have no idea. I didn't even know you guys were out to bid on it. Why are you shaking your head?
we had him once before,
Okay.
and we gave him notice and
I don't think he's
placed him with
interested
the
in
house.
bidding.
I
No?
don't think he
I
was.
don't believe so.
Okay. So that settles that then.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I move that
ma'am.
we award the bid to House for 3 years at $17,000 per year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So you're definitely locked into 3 years then? Or is it up for review each year?
No,
No, it would be for 3 years.
for 3 years.
You can do that? You don't even have that budget?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, we can budget accordingly in the years going forward. The only thing I would ask is how the bid process was done. I wasn't even aware that you guys were out to bid.
I sent the bid specs to Martin to post on the town web page.
I just wanna make sure we followed the policy of how we do our bids.
I sent them to Michelle and asked her to send
Oh,
them
they
to
went to
VLCT,
Okay,
Yeah.
and we notified.
perfect. Okay, any other discussion? Okay. Moved and seconded, all those in favor of awarding, how the bid for cemetery for 3 years, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes.
And it went out to bid this year because it was the end of their
Another contract,
current
previous
contract.
contract.
Yep,
The current contract was for 3 years also.
it was for two. To then. We'd, on here, we'd also like permission to start raising money for Polly Lee marker that we're going to put up probably in Tyler Cemetery. We have $600 that's in the Polly Lee fund that was already decided that we were gonna use that much, but we're gonna need probably significantly more than that. So we would like to ask townspeople and whoever else would like to donate to that marker.
Okay.
So,
You wanna put something together that I can make an announcement to that effect at the next select board meeting and get it out on,
Oh,
look at you. You're so fancy.
Fancy, see?
I'll just change one word.
Do you want me to read this?
Sure.
Okay. Polly Lee marker. About 1770, a large family of Lees moved to the wilderness of what is now Newton Road. They soon needed to establish a family cemetery enclosed by a stone wall and entered through a wrought iron gate. Burials included children, a Revolutionary War hero, and many family members. As time passed, it fell into disrepair, and finally, a developer owning the property plowed it under. Vernon's Cemetery Committee would like to have a marker made in honor and remember those whose resting place was destroyed. By the law, the town appropriations cannot be used on a private cemetery. We hope Vernon citizens will donate towards such a marker. Checks may be made out to the town of Vernon, noting its purpose, Polly Lee Cemetery Memorial Fund, and sent to the treasurer at 567 Governor Hunt Road, Vernon. So we'll get that out to Martin to put on
Yep.
the town Facebook page and such as well. Do you want that back?
Can I ask a quick question? Where on Newton Road is this?
It is
Breezy Acres.
in the area of Breezy Acres.
I see, very good. Well, that would make sense, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty then. But yeah, you don't need our permission to do fundraising, but
Okay. I just
we'll
wanted-
do whatever we can to help you promote it to consider.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you.
Since we have Chris here, let's just get Chris up here to, in the under departments and committees to do the, our quarterly update. Hey Chris, how you doing?
Good. Better now.
Yeah? It's because you're in our presence or what?
We had a kid missing in the woods.
Oh, that's a problem.
Dear.
Turned out well.
Good.
These chairs. All right, let's see. We'll pass these out first.
Thank you. I should have brought my magnifying glasses.
So this is kind of a learning process, so I hope we got the information that you're looking for. Let's see, which date is this? Okay, so I believe it was asked for the current, well, this quarter that just got done, plus the quarter before information.
Oh, that's the same.
And we'll start, well, would you like to start with the quarter before or the current quarter that just closed?
Can you, yeah, let's
I'll
start.
kind of explain what everything is here.
Yeah, let's start April 1st and give us kind of an overview of
Okay.
what we'll.
So, in going through and gathering the statistics of dispositions, open, closed cases, and the such, it's hard to do because there are so many different kind of cases out there. So, what I did was I went with the what are called NIBRS Part A and Part B crimes. Those are things such as larcenies, burglaries, assaults, major thefts, driving under the influence, you know, all those types of things that, you know, arrest can be made for. So we'll start April 1st through June 30th. During that time span, there were 10 NIBRS reportable offenses that occurred that ranged from, they call petty larcenies, which are under $1,000, up to, I believe that had a couple driving under the influence and domestic assault and the such. Out of those, as you can see on the side, the incident disposition, the active cases are the ones that have not been cleared out either by an arrest or some other fashion. You'll notice inactive, no arrest. Generally that means, not always, but generally it's you know, somebody's not cooperating in the case. Like, say your home's broken into, then you find out that, oh, it really wasn't, it was my wife who borrowed my shaver and I thought it was missing. So that would be closed out as that because it's not no arrest is ever going to be made in that, obviously. So
She doesn't take my shaver, she takes money out of my wallet, that's all.
I was avoiding that.
Could I just ask, NIBRS is an acronym for?
National Incident-Based Reporting System. And these are what get reported to the federal government as crimes that have occurred. And, you know, as you see, there's a pretty good smorgasbord of, you know, most calls that come in like this are these petty larcenies. They may be theft from a vehicle, or, you know, it could be theft from, you know, like an outbuilding of a residence or something like that. Something that's not going to be considered a burglary.
What's the difference?
Well, a burglary has to be to a residence or a closed building. So like a lean-to type shed would not be a burglary, but a garage would, you know, anything basically that's a closed building would be considered a burglary.
Could I ask one other question? NIBRS Group A and Group B, there's truths and falses.
Yeah, so
Is that
the true and the false just means
specific?
whether it's a Group A or a Group B reportable.
Okay,
Group A are the more serious offenses such as burglaries, homicides, aggravated
I
assaults,
see, okay.
and the such.
And Group B is less so.
And Group B are the lesser, DUIs,
Yeah.
driving with a suspended license, maybe
Thank you. I get it.
yeah, just kind of littler things that aren't that big of a deal. So there are, out of this 10 for April through June, I thought I'd written it down, I'm sorry, I did not. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 active cases still open. And the rest were either closed through an arrest or, again, in an inactive status. Basically, the unfortunate part of thefts, like from a vehicle in the middle of the night, sometimes they get solved, quite frequently they don't. Which is why I've talked about in the past getting people to report them, because it allows us to be able to, pile information together to hopefully catch somebody, and it all helps. But a lot of times if it's just a spread out thing where somebody takes something from a car this side of town, then a week later, out in the woods at this house out here, it's harder to track. So I think things have gotten better. We're getting a lot more reports when things do happen. And that helps when it comes to being able to investigate and bring these in. So skipping forward to the July 1st to September 30th, there were only 7 NIBRS Part A or B crimes that were reported and investigated. Of those, make sure I get this right, only 3 of them have not been cleared by an arrest and remain active. And those are the burglaries the 2 burglaries that occurred during that time. Otherwise, it's not too far off 7 and 10. It's not really a big major change, so that's pretty good. The next page that I did was, next several pages are the total incidents that we responded to during that time. And this has everything, that we generally report to you on a monthly basis. The 911 hang-ups or, whatnot. From April 1st to June 30th, we responded to 403 complaints. And July 1st through September 30th, it was 462 complaints. And the last page that I did out was just our arrests for that time period as well. So April to July, or the end of June, we had 7 arrests, and there was a total of 13 from July to the end of September.
Anybody have any questions?
I had just one, this first 14.29 refers to this one above or something?
No, and I'm not sure. So there are some,
Whatever it was, there was one of them.
yes.
Well,
Sometimes
it
there's
may be-
glitches.
Yeah, all right, okay.
It could be anything, it could have been anything at all. And unfortunately, I'm
Well,
not sure.
once we get familiar with the form, I probably won't ask such stupid questions. But
Not an issue at all.
perhaps by that time, I won't be here either, so.
It's, as I said, it's kind of learning. The software that we have is only a few years old. This isn't something that we've done,
Well, it seems that it's
For other
cleared up on
towns.
this one, so, right.
yeah. So we're learning. If there's something you are confused about, feel free to ask. I'll continue putting out the monthly information to you guys. And,
Thank you.
watch our press releases. We certainly seem to be generating plenty as of late, which keeps me busy.
If I might make a comment, I think this is very helpful, especially over the long term, in terms of keeping track of things and also being able to satisfy townspeople as far as how this is all working out. I think this is actually some hard data that's very useful, so I appreciate what you've done here.
Not a problem at all.
Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Thank you very much.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's
I think
it.
you're good.
Okay, excellent.
Back to work.
Now, thankfully, it's time to go home. I'll let the next shift take you.
Good for you.
Yay.
Take care.
Thank you. Library trustees, and this is going to be an executive session. We are going to invite Michelle, Melissa, and Cindy into
And this is under, for what reason?
Number two.
Evaluation, yeah.
That number two?
That's the one.
Number 2. Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session with our town administrator, Mr. Ferris, and our town treasurer, on appointment or employment or evaluation of public officer employee, 1 VSA 313 3A3.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and all in favor of going into executive session, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Recuse.
We went into executive session at 6:55 PM, out at 7:32, no action was taken. Gosh, it sounded official. Approval of meeting minutes from the regular meeting on October 3rd.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the meeting of October 3rd as presented in draft form before us this evening.
Second.
I,
Oh,
can we
sorry.
discuss after?
No.
We do.
Now
Oh,
you discuss.
Now it's time.
Okay.
What'd you do?
Well, I recused myself, but I'm not getting credit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Well, when we made changes to the agenda because there was gonna be something about the library. This is when I was talking about the decorating, I think.
Never-ending saga of the
I don't know, that was two months ago.
That was 2 days ago.
Yeah,
The
that was on October
correction.
13th, 3rd.
That was
the additions. Handicap. Oh, I know, but
Oh,
are you looking at the
approval of the minutes?
it's
there.
Because in the minutes before.
What
there's
section are you referring
abstention.
to, Jean? if you'd
approval
like
of
to share
minutes, which is approving September
page-
20th.
Page,
2.
thank you.
So it changed my abstention at the end of the meeting to a recusal, but
Yes.
you were all supposed to add in that I recused the first motion.
What I did for that, because we can't change your abstention to a recusal, because that's not, so in the minutes from the last meeting, there is a note underneath it that your intention was to recuse based on
to
definitions of
abstain.
both. So it's noted in the last minutes as a notation rather than
Okay.
because we can't change your words.
But also, when we were approving those minutes, my recusal to the additions to the agenda was not there, and that was supposed to get changed.
From abstention
No.
to recusal.
There was nothing, it just said every
Oh,
5-0.
I put in there one recusal. That's more like an edit, like a.
Oh, you
call it
don't,
edit.
I don't change them.
what's that?
Because it was a mistake, so that
Oh,
was
okay.
edited, so.
All right,
So there's
you-
2 recusals in the, 3 recusals in the,
Okay.
in the one before, right? Is that correct?
Two.
Well, Jeff had one.
Okay, this
From
is
their
getting really
changes.
confusing.
Jeff had a recusal.
Let me get the.
Oh, I don't know about
Yeah, it was
that
about
part.
the back pay select board position.
Right.
Sorry, I was thinking.
See, here was September,
Okay.
and that was not
So
in
that
there.
was just, that was a typo, so we just fixed the typo. because
Okay, so
it
that
should
doesn't have to be
No,
an
that's,
official part of the
you don't have to do edits for
corrections?
typos, no,
okay.
not for a
All right,
motion.
then I'm fine.
And then for the other one, I just put a note, wasn't there another one?
Yes, the one at the end. Okay, only because.
Right here,
Yeah,
I put a note down here, so it stayed this, and there was a
Ooh.
notation that you noted that your intention was to recuse
okay,
yourself.
well, I just thought, cause that was a correction that wasn't in that motion, so.
And that's supposed to be this correction.
Yep.
That is this
No.
one, it should be.
No.
Abstention.
No, I wasn't counted, it was carried 5-0,
That's right.
and it should be
So that's
4
another
and 1.
typo.
Yeah, that correction didn't get put into the next motion.
So that one did not happen.
So we do amend your motion to approve the minutes with the correction
As corrected.
as corrected.
So this
So
should be.
amended.
Because you sat there and said, I remember that.
You know what, I'm just gonna take out that, as was her intention for all three. How's that?
Yeah, but I said the right word here.
No, but that'll cover them all.
Don't make me laugh, it hurts.
Are there any periods missing in this document?
Hey,
Thank goodness they spelled my name right.
Okay, I will,
Okay, so we got a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes as corrected. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from October 3rd as corrected, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Yay. Bills and warrants.
Yes.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Chair, the following warrants are presented to the Select Board for approval and payment. First, 8T, accounts payable in the amount of $84,958.32. And two payroll warrants, 40S in the amount of $8,558.08, and 41S in the amount of $8,428.07. No one's going to
Yeah,
second it, huh?
It's done, it's done, Gene seconded it.
It's very hard for me to think.
Moved
that?
and,
I wasn't.
jumping back in.
It doesn't matter.
moved and seconded
It
to
does.
approve the warrants as read. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hey, all right. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. Green Up Vermont request for funding. It's in here. There it is.
so just as a background, I did reach out to Emily, cause I thought I remembered her saying not to give to the state, and that the line item that we have in our budget right now is for her, which is like $150. And she couldn't remember if the town gave to Green Up or not, but would recommend contributing 50 to 100 because they do cover the bags and the signage that she gets.
It seems like I would have remembered that from years ago, from last year, and I don't, but I don't have a problem with it. Bags are bags, that's a lot cheaper than the bags we have here in town, I'll tell you. Wish I could get them for that.
And then, cause in our budget, we have 150 for, and she used like $50 for food.
So just include this here in the 150 in our budget.
This would what?
Why have two Green Up?
There would only be one,
Yeah.
it would just be, some of it would go to Emily to buy, she buys lunch for everybody who works. And then she gets the bags and the signs and stuff from
So many.
From the state.
So what's the funding amount we wanna?
150.
Well, so
Well,
then you're only
150
gonna
for the
do
state.
150 for the state plus 50
Alright.
for the town?
Well, the town's already done for this year, then we gotta.
This is
No,
for next
this
year.
is
will
for
be
next year.
budget. Do you need sleep?
Yes,
So we'll be changing it really to 200?
yes.
Cause right now I think it's in the budget for 150, just saying.
That's 200. I make a motion to put them in for 200.
That sounds
in our
magical.
budget.
To give them 200?
No.
No,
Okay, for
No.
total
Total
200?
of 200.
Yes, 150
Okay.
to the state, 50 to
Okay.
us to do our thing,
yeah.
so. We got a motion, you seconded it,
I
Jean?
did.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded to increase Green Up Day budget to $200 for the upcoming year. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Yay. Okay, clarify signature requirements for town articles. What do we need to clarify?
This was tabled from the last meeting,
Oh, yes.
because we had talked about, some
Correct.
requests to
Okay.
not gather signatures.
So-
And read this. Jean almost made a motion last time.
To circle back to it, the discussion was whether we wanna require everyone to get signatures, or whether we wanna require no one to get signatures, or whether we wanna require some people to get signatures and not others for their nonprofit town article.
Want a motion?
Depends whether I'll like it or not.
I'm sorry.
Kidding. Whatever you
Just
want.
Okay. Recognizing that local efforts to improve the lives of Vernon citizens are most efficiently done without added administrative burdens, I move that the town of Vernon exempt locally based nonprofit groups and organizations from signature requirements to place an article on town meeting warrants subject to the approval of the select board. Additionally, nonprofit groups or organizations based outside of Vernon but working to protect the interest of its citizens and having appeared on the town meeting warning in previous years shall be exempt from signature requirements to place an identical article on the town meeting warrant for the next 5 subsequent years, providing a letter of intent is received by the town office no later than November 1st of the preceding year.
Wow,
To get a lot.
that's a lot.
Thank you.
Do you get it?
I got it, but I have some questions. I'll second it, and then I have some questions.
Okay.
Can I ask my
You seconded it,
questions?
so now you can ask your question.
All right, I'm going to ask, first off, you said the same as, 5 years previously or something? The question I would have is, so that prevents them from asking for more money in subsequent years?
No,
Well,
that's not what you said.
That's what it says.
Unless
Identical
they get
article,
signatures
yes.
again.
Well, unless they
identical
go out and get
article on the
signatures.
town meeting.
You said
warrant.
identical, didn't you? So that would include the funding of all
No,
of
that
them.
she wouldn't have to petition for the next 5 years.
No.
Right, but it said
It has to be the
identical.
same article, so they have to ask for the same
Same
amount.
amount of money.
I mean, I tried to, I helped her with this a little bit, tried to model it on what a lot of
Oh,
other
so-
towns do.
And I
And
think
if
that's,
if they just want the same exact article
well,
as they
that,
did last year, they
I think that's
would-
fine, that's level funding, I'm highly in support of that. What I'm not in favor of is bracket creep. I don't like that.
What's that?
Explain yourself.
That means this year I ask for $50, next year I ask for 65, and pretty soon I'm up to, goodness, 10,000, why not?
What is that?
If you live long enough here, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Under this motion, they could do that, but they would have to petition
Petition.
Every
again.
Petition is fine, yeah, I don't care if they go back and petition, but I'm just saying, the exemption from signatures, I did hear identical,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Okay.
Good,
Jeff?
thank you.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Well, you had me up until the word additionally. I was part of a select board that initiated petition process. And my recollection, Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong because you were on the same board. My recollection was that we're increasingly being requested for charities to go at town meeting that really didn't serve the interests of the town. I won't point out some specifics, but I could. we felt that it was important that charities display that they had the support of Vernon and the commitment, and we felt we would follow the example of a number of other towns that required petitions in order for that charity to say, okay, we do have the support of the residents. What better way than to go and get signatures? And we felt it was a small effort on a charity's part to get some signatures every year. And I guess the other thing that I feel is 7 months ago at the Vernon Town meeting, there was not a single charity that was granted funding. I believe the people at the town meeting spoke pretty clearly. So I'm in support up until the word additionally. I don't agree with anything after that.
Okay. Sandy?
Yeah, I don't think it's hard for them to get the signatures. They stand out in front of the post office a couple mornings, a couple volunteers, and they've got their signatures, and often they'd have more than one, you know. The same, like if it was Jean, she might have it for 2 different ones, and I might have it for 2 different organizations. I don't think it's onerous to ask them to get signatures,
Every year,
the ones that aren't in town.
every year.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
Well, the other thing I see the benefit too, Sandy, is that very oftentimes these people who are representing outside or off-town organizations actually also live here in Vernon. And to me, that would be a good example of someone stepping up and saying, well, I'll work on getting signatures for my organization because I live here in town.
Right.
And then they can also explain to the townspeople how their organization benefits the town.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that, to me, that is a real advantage in requiring signatures.
right, because if I'm signing something.
And by the way, I
seeing
did
things-
second the motion, but doesn't mean I agree with it.
You don't have to always.
You opened up the conversation.
Of course,
Right,
I
it's
want
good
to be
to,
in my opinion.
Having seen both ways,
Mhm,
I think signatures are good,
mhm.
because we've been both ways, and I've seen the good and the bad in both, and there's more good to having to get signatures than if not. That's my personal opinion.
So I'll give you my personal opinion as well. I agree that organizations outside of Vernon should have to get signatures every single year. The ones inside the borders of Vernon, I'm okay with giving them a pass from getting signatures. And that's my 2 cents on it.
I will say there are some of those that have gotten signatures and are under the human organizations that in the past were under the select board budget. But in order to make the select board budget look good, they were put into human organizations, and not one of them complained about getting signatures.
Most of them wouldn't, I wouldn't think.
And some of those, I was really sad when they didn't pass last year.
It's a very similar thing to grant writing. You know, there's a little work that's gotta be done before you get your money. And as Jeff said, the people of Vernon spoke pretty clearly last year that, you know, we provide to the organizations that we wanna provide to personally. We don't wanna do it through our tax dollars, and that message was made very, very clear. So I will be surprised whether that changes in this upcoming year. But we will see when town meeting hits. So, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second on the floor. Any more discussion?
I would like to have the motion reread, please.
Recognizing that local efforts to improve the lives of Vernon citizens are most efficiently done without added administrative burdens, I move that the town of Vernon exempt locally based nonprofit groups and organizations from signature requirements to place an article on the town meeting warning, subject to the approval of the select board. Additionally, nonprofit groups or organizations based outside of Vernon, but working to protect the interests of its citizens, and having appeared on town meeting warning in the previous year, shall be exempt from signature requirements to place an identical article on the town meeting warning for the next 5 years, providing a letter of intent is received by the town office no later than November 1st of the preceding year.
Thank you.
So, all those in favor of the motion as read, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Does not carry. So, do we wanna table this, or do we wanna find a happy medium here?
Well, there is a middle ground, and it could be proposed in a new amendment, or not amendment, but certainly amending that motion.
So I think if we just took the first part of her motion,
I would say that I could support this if it was local people. I think the additionally part is what sticks it for me. That still doesn't guarantee that at town meeting, they aren't gonna vote the whole thing down again like they
Oh,
have done
absolutely
in the
not,
past.
but
And so that,
we
that
gotta-
is the town's option.
we gotta
yeah,
give
but I
everybody
think
the
I support
opportunity.
First subparagraph.
So you want a
The
motion
motion?
to that?
Yeah.
You want me to do it
Yeah,
again?
You got the
you're so
paperwork.
good at it.
I'll second it.
Well, here's the reduced motion. Recognizing that local effects to improve the lives of Vernon citizens are most efficiently done without added administrative burdens, I move that the town of Vernon exempt locally based nonprofit groups and organizations from signature requirements to place an article on the town meeting warning subject to the approval of the select board.
Second.
Second.
Can I make a friendly amendment to that? Cause I don't like the locally based, because Brattleboro can say that they're locally based.
Vernon based.
So I would like to have that read, Vernon-based organizations.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay.
And I will second that amendment also.
Good, everybody seconded.
Wait a minute.
Just take it as a friendly amendment
Michelle
and
is
then
over
slip the
there
Vernon
trying to
in.
get all these.
Friendly amendment from locally based to Vernon-based.
Okay. And we had the second on that, did we?
There was.
There
Who did
was,
that?
there was like 7 of them.
Pick one, Steve. Okay, I heard Steve.
Okay. Moved
There's
and
not 7 of
seconded
us here.
for the revised motion regarding signature requirements for town articles. All those in favor as the article as friendly amended, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? There you go, all done. So, here we are again. Remove $15,618 from the grand list due to errors and omissions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
I guess the question I have is we went over this last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
For the citizens asset
Right,
finance? So why is this coming again?
Well, it's for the Western oil
Yeah,
field
it's-
supply. They're showing you the total here, but it's just for the Western.
Oh,
oil
I
field
see,
supply.
so we're just dealing with the oil fields at this point, okay.
That's how
And
they-
so we have oil fields here in
They
Vermont?
had supplies. They probably had some stuff at the plant.
That would be unusual, I mean, it seems like I would know that.
I would think so.
Well, I don't, but anyway, all right. As long as we don't have some oil field that I'm not aware of.
Hey, you tell me where it is, I'll buy the land.
Yeah. Real oil field, good luck with that.
They don't invent it.
So moved and seconded, all those in favor of removing $15,618 from the grand list due to errors and omissions, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Excuse me for yawning. My eye.
Affirm capital plan committee involvement in purchases from capital plan.
Tom, do you want me to tell them what this is all about? This is actually a simple request from the capital plan committee. And I highlighted the chapter in their sort of mission statement. about, on the policy on the administration of the capital plan, that it gives the select board the right to let the capital plan committee be involved in the purchase end. So typically they're involved in the planning, right? How long is it gonna take to save up for something? How long do you think? And they work with every department head. But when it takes 10 years to save up for something, things change. And does the need change? Does the cost change? Are there people that are qualified to use the equipment that we get? With your permission, the capital plan would like the chance to work back with every department on there who's coming up with a major purchase to look at some of these questions. It's not a requirement, but it's in sort of their administration policy that they make. And they would like to be able to do that, to oversee some of the stuff. And not that they would have final say, but to come back to the select board with, okay, we're gonna make this $200,000 purchase, and here's our recommendation and the information that we have.
So they're just advisory.
Yes.
According to their,
Do we need to do a motion for that?
Seems like it's already there.
I don't think you need a motion,
It
but
seems
the
to be
policy
in
just
there already.
says with,
Yeah.
under the permission of the select board, so if you
Yeah.
just say yes.
so we need a majority agreement that we're okay, a consensus.
Well,
Agree,
not
I
only
do.
agree, but I think it's a vital part of that process because
I agree,
it seems like a good
You
check.
agree, you agree?
Yeah.
We all
It's
agree.
at your discretion.
We all
Okay.
agree.
Why do we say
We all agree.
Thank you for
Right, exactly.
taking on another piece of the job even. Good
I
for you.
do have a question though, because this policy is referring to a finance committee all through it, and I thought that was no longer finance committee, that it was.
Oh, I just copied the
She
wrong.
copied the
Well, I
wrong
wondered
town
if this
report.
was the wrong report, and I meant to go back and look. Because
We
of its-
changed it to capital plan.
Right.
That's all we
We
did.
did.
Everything else is the same.
But it's just the words changed, not any
Yes.
other.
Yes, cause I,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay. I
Okay.
meant to dig out
Because
a town report and see if
This was in the last one, it was changed in the
at
last
last
one.
meeting,
Yeah, so
at last time,
And,
yeah.
I don't have this in a Word document, so they have to type it all over.
Boo. Okay,
So
cause I
the,
remembered it being changed, so I just hope that all the
It-
other policy part of it was still the same.
Yeah, everything else
Okay.
was exactly the same, I just wanted to know how they.
Okay.
so the Stranded Act is the next thing on the agenda that was added. The Stranded Act is from Zion, Illinois. They had or have a plant there still.
Well,
Do they have an active
it
plant?
has, no, it's not active, but
Okay.
it's being decommissioned at this point.
Okay,
But they
So-
will, of course, retain the fuel for everyone.
sure. So the Stranded Act is
No, it's this
to assist communities affected by stranded nuclear waste and for other purposes.
the terminology?
Stranded?
Yeah, stranded. It's,
Yeah, you
True.
pull it out into long fibers.
So this is
and-
this is basically to help those towns that have stranded nuclear fuel,
Yeah,
and get us a little money for being the host of that stranded nuclear fuel.
yeah, it's sort of like
So what do they
interim
want us to
storage,
do?
if you will.
I don't know, why
We-
am I talking about
We
this?
looked at something like this before, this is the second time this has been tried, I think when I first got here, New Jersey or Pennsylvania was trying it. There is a Nuclear Waste Policy Act of 1982 that provides compensation for interim storage of nuclear waste facilities. Well, Vernon is now, and every other place who cannot get rid of their nuclear waste is now an interim storage facility. The way I understand it, and I'm trying to remember from over a year ago when I tried to figure out what this initial act was created for, was that when they were looking at sites like Yucca Mountain, et cetera, there was going to be waste stations along the way. And those towns with the waste stations that were temporary storage of nuclear waste were going to get compensated for their trouble. Well, the whole system isn't happening. So now, our sites like Vernon and Seabrook and that have these safe store facilities, and I don't know if Seabrook has one, but anyways, we are temporary storage facilities now and storage host towns. So should that money that was allocated in that original act from 1982 be allocated to communities like ours that are dismantling nuclear plants? So there is a push in Illinois to sponsor a bill on the federal level.
Isn't it here as well? I swear I heard something
In-
about Peter Welsh pushing something as well.
Yes.
Well, they've signed,
did.
I think they've signed on. to
And
it.
he may have signed on to this, and this is this is them asking us to ask our Congress people, men and women, to
Right.
sign on to this bill.
Right.
So what they're looking for is us, as a
This-
select board, to write a letter to our local congressmen and legislators and say, push this through.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Sign on, support.
It's so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any
Would be
discussion?
nice.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of having Michelle draft a letter on behalf of the select board for us to sign and send to our local congressmen to support the Stranded Act, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Done. Capital plan request, select board move computers to general operating budget. Because we have this big chunk of money that sits there for computers, I think we talked about this probably about a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago at this point, that we have to replace everything at once, all the time, because of the way the capital plan works. If we move money out of the capital, well, not necessarily move money out of the capital plan, but put it in our budget versus keeping it in the capital plan, then we can replace a couple at a time, reducing that ridiculous cycle of buying 10 computers at once, all the time.
Which was in the capital plan will no longer buy 10 computers, just for record.
Yeah.
Just
Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
the $10,000.
I think it makes wonderful sense to, do it the way you're talking, but on the flip side, the question I would have is that maybe now and even maybe sometime in the future, there may come a point at which the older version isn't gonna talk to the newer version. And are we gonna get into a situation where we have a situation where some computers can do certain things and other ones can't? And are we gonna
Right.
be hamstringing someone that way, or what? That's the only thing I would have as a downside to that. I know at home, of course, I replace mine every couple of years, but that's just one. I don't have a whole fleet like here.
Like the treasurer's, she'd get the upgraded NEMRIC, and then her assistant wouldn't have the upgraded NEMRIC. I would think it'd be smarter to replace a departments at a time, rather than,
Yeah,
We'll do
which
Cindy's
in most
and we'll do
cases is
Tim's.
1 or 2 computers,
right,
because our departments aren't, 15 people in
No,
each
that's
department, so
Yeah.
this would definitely, because we've done that already in a couple of different people. Town clerk has got a new computer.
The town clerk did, but the assistant town clerk
Right.
didn't. We had enough left for one more, so.
And maybe
we
there's
went
no
with the town clerk.
incompatibility issues or two, I don't know. but
Well, there
I'm
may
just-
be.
The lister's got new ones and the treasurer's got new ones, both of them, because of those issues, you really need to be able to run those systems. I need to run Microsoft Office, so mine will be the last one replaced.
Maybe you and the assistant town clerk can get.
But to do them all at once is, the problem with that is that they all die at once. So if Cindy's computer dies and everybody else starts dying, there's no backup. I can't give her my computer
Right,
and run my laptop. So that's the issue I was hoping to avoid, is that there's always newer computers in the system, at least somewhere. And so we can certainly prioritize if one of them dies early, but
Which
they'll
is what,
all go at the same time.
which is what
suppose you
most
could
companies do.
take steps to make sure that there is compatibility, so it probably would be all right.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
We don't update that fast.
No.
Well,
well, NEMRIC does, like almost monthly, it seems like. I was getting a new
So
upgrade.
is everybody okay with doing this? I don't know if we need an official
Yes.
vote
Yes.
on this, but
We probably don't need an official vote until it goes to the budget, but it will increase the select board's budget, because we're just
Yes.
taking that $2,000 out of the contribution to capital and putting it in
Yep.
the select boards.
so.
The unfortunate part is that the emergency capital plan is funding the capital plan, so now that's definitely gonna be on the tax rolls.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's a trade-off.
Okay, so everybody's happy with that, we will make our official nod when we get to it in budget. Public participation, agenda items only. Seeing none. Correspondence.
Well, if the land trust notice was just an update that this was an article that was voted on at town meeting. It is moving forward, which is good news. In addition, we did receive an update from Sky Solar. They did run a little behind on the solar array over at the Ferry Road. Solid waste. But they are on track to be done in June of 2018. And there's also an invitation to the Vermont Community Development Association Fall Meeting on November 2nd that you all are welcome to peruse. And that's pretty much the big ones.
Your report, you have anything?
I have one thing on the report, and that is that the fire department and Todd has been working hard to get some maintenance started on the pond road, on the fire pond, the corner of Newton and 142, which is owned by Stella Skipnowski, I believe. And they will be draining that on Thursday, and Tyler Excavation will begin working on it on Friday.
Be interesting to see how many bodies
How would you know that?
Okay.
That's good.
Moving along,
Speculation.
upcoming meeting
Just in time for
schedule.
Halloween.
The upcoming meeting schedule, I will see everyone's shining faces here tomorrow for our special budget meeting.
Shining?
Shining. And then the next regular meeting is going to be November 7th. And that is it. We are adjourned.
Oh, thank goodness.
Since you brought that up, I gotta tell you the story that my father.